guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Dimmitt Chevrolet, sunny Clearwater, Florida, and we have it. This is the all-new 2021, totally redesigned Chevrolet Trailblazer. This particular one is an LT trim. So if you're sitting at home right now and you're scratching your head saying, Joe, didn't you already do a Trailblazer? That was the RS trim. This is now the LT trim. You'd be surprised. A lot of differences, and I think for some of you, you may like this one a little bit more. But before we dive into this, let's talk about the history of the Chevrolet Trailblazer. First appeared back in 1999 as a trim option to the Blazer. What's crazy is that things have really changed for Chevrolet. They brought the Blazer name back, but they did not deliver on any kind of off-road capability. Ford is getting ready to bring the Bronco out, and everybody thought, okay, Chevy's got the Trailblazer, they're gonna bring the name back, and that's gonna be their off-road vehicle. Well, guess what? This is what we have. It's called a subcompact crossover SUV. So this is gonna go up against the Nissan Kicks, this is gonna go up against the Kia Seltos, the Hyundai Kona. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, where does this fall in their lineup? This actually falls between the Equinox and the smaller Sonic. So kind of crazy the way they have so many different forms of a crossover SUV. Did they really need another one, especially subcompact and without any major off-road capability? But one thing is for certain, for those of you who are looking for a smaller SUV, this might have a lot of boxes checked off to where you'll want to run down and drive one of these home. So let's go ahead and dive into the all-new 2021 Chevrolet Trailblazer. Now, I said it was a trim originally. 2002 was the first time that we had the full-size Trailblazer. Much different. Those fans are getting let down, I know right off the bat. But let's see what we're looking at styling-wise on this new one. So you have your dual split lighting setup. You have your LED daytime running lamp. Inside there, you got your turn signal, and then down below, you have your projector beam style headlight design. There's been some other brands that have tried this. I think it's working well on the Trailblazer, and it looks very nice on the regular Blazer as well, and you can see that family resemblance. You drop down, you got a little bit of flat black. So we have flat black, LED fog lamps. We come across the front fascia. Now here's where it gets a little wonky. This top portion, even though it looks pretty good, it's fake. There's no vents here. So that is gonna be a zonk. You have that golden bow tie, that iconic logo of Chevrolet, Louis Chevrolet. The chrome trim looks great, and that's where you really see the connection with the Blazer. You work your way down, you do have the flat black, horizontal. This is functional, this is non-functional. All this is non-functional, so that's gonna be another zonk. You drop down, now we have a little bit more functionality. I like the silver, this nice gloss silver that they put, kind of breaks it up and gives it a little bit more of an off-road SUV look to it. Now when we get up onto the hood, the way that the hood matches and connects to the grille looks clean. You have a nice rise here in the center, kind of raises and goes back to the windshield. You're gonna have your two higher peaks on each side. And what I like about the design is it's got a little bit of a curve to it. That's the thing is that this subcompact crossover SUV, it also features Mazda CX-30, the Honda HR-V. It's getting really hot and heavy, and I think Chevrolet is going to try to do whatever they can to stand out in this class. Now, when we get to the side of the vehicle, here's what we're working with. They take the flat black from the bumper area, bring it around the fender trim. I'm so glad they didn't go any higher. If they would have went higher, it would have looked a little too much like a CX-30, and I also don't think it looks good when you go high with the black plastic, so I'm glad they kept it at that height. On the LT trim, here's what we're working with wheel and tire setup. So you have this 17-inch wheel. I like the gloss black and this machined aluminum design that goes around. If you're wondering, well, Joe, what are the dimensions of this thing? You're looking at 225 on the width and a nice 60 series meaty sidewall. Looks good. I think nice amount of gap between the top of the tire, the inside of the fender. Going down the side on the LT trim, you're gonna have color match mirror caps, no turn signal built in, so that's gonna be a zonk. I do like the way they black out the A-pillar. This one does not have the optional two-tone roof. And I think it really helps show the lines a little bit better than the RS that we brought to you first, because it had the all gloss black roof. So you have a nice flat roof design, flat silver on your roof rails. You can get your crossbars. I'm 6 feet tall, so to get a kayak up there would be a piece of pumpkin pie or cake. Flat black around your window treatment. You do get color matched on the door handles. I like this body line that kind of rises up from the sill and then works its way along the bottom. Nice height on that sill, and I'm glad that they kept it flat black. Even the way the body line, I mean, they got some very nice lines going on here to kind of break up what could be a very boring vehicle just from looking at it. Here's your floating roof design, so you have the gloss black to split up your rear pillar there. And then when we get to the tail end of the business, tasteful looking rear spoiler. It's got a nice little dip in it, rises on the side. What I'm zonking still is that antenna. It looks like a remote control car. I wish they would put a shark fin. This is a 2021. The way they designed the taillights look clean and integrate nicely into the rear hatch. If you notice, it kind of extends out a little bit, but still very, very clean. We drop down, you get a simple LT badge there, your Trailblazer badging, and then of course, you're gonna bring some of that silver from the front to the back. What I'm happy to report, no fake exhaust and no exhaust sticking out. Actually very clean, but why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering this Trailblazer. All right guys, we got the hood popped. They do have a prop rod, and I am zonking it because I wish it was a little further over the passenger side there. Underneath that hood, I think this is where the original Trailblazer fans are gonna be let down. You're looking at a choice between two different engines, two different 3-cylinder engines. So this one has actually the little higher displacement. It's a 1.3 liter turbocharged inline 3, that's 155 horsepower, 174 pound-feet of torque. This one is front-wheel drive. With this engine, you can get all-wheel drive. Now, if you go all-wheel drive, you could get a 9-speed automatic. This one has made it to a CVT, 0 to 60, and not the fastest of times. You're looking around 8 seconds. MPGs, 29 in the city, and around almost 35 on the highway. So definitely from a fuel consumption standpoint, you're gonna do really well with the 3-cylinder. If you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the other option? It's a 1.2 liter inline 3 turbocharged engine, around 137 horsepower. But why don't we go ahead? I don't think this is really the highlight. Let's see what the interior brings in the amount of room for a small vehicle. All right, guys, we're inside the 2021 Chevrolet Trailblazer LT. I know you're at that point where you're like, Joe, you know, I'm actually digging the outside. I need a little bit smaller vehicle. Maybe I'm downsizing. How much is this one? This one is option price MSRP $25,995. Let's see what you get for the money. Now, to the door panels, you're gonna get hard plastic up top. There's a little bit of gloss black to kind of make things a tad interesting. What I don't like, and I'm gonna zonk, is that cloth portion to the back of the door panel. Just doesn't look very clean. Armrest is a Rubbermaid material. It's very, very hard. And you do have a smaller pocket down here. You might have to go Whopper Jr. and get yourself a small soda instead of the super big gulp size. Now, when you get to the dash, I do like the material they're using on the dash. This almost feels like a neoprene, like from a wetsuit material with the stitch work. Looks great. You do have a slot for 2 Snickers bars. I like the way they brought that smoked metallic finish, that carbon ceramic finish, to the interior of the AC trim. You get to the center AC, kind of sticks up like a Jeep Renegade, which makes sense because remember, Renegade is also another subcompact crossover SUV. You drop down, you got that carbon flash metallic trim. What's nice is it doesn't show fingerprints too much. This one has the optional 8-inch sound system, infotainment system. So normally you would have a 7-inch. This is the 8-inch, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Let me throw it in reverse, show you the backup camera that we have there. It's a little grainy. I almost feel like I need to put on my 3D glasses to look at that. So I'm a little disappointed in the quality on that, but you do have your remote Wi-Fi, nice little swipe features, real easy to get to, nice and clean. So that's a nice touch. You drop down, standard AC controls, blower fan switch. You got your little digital display for your temperature. You do have heated seats on this one. We work our way down, nice large cubby. So you have a nice cubby down there. You could easily put about 8 Twinkies. You have your 12-volt USB-C, USB, and an aux jack. Little kind of fancy little net design. I guess they're trying to mimic like a little handle. Hard as a rock plastic. You have your sport mode that you could go into. You have snow mode. And if you want to shut the traction control off, which I don't know why in God's green earth you'd want to do that, here is your key fob, your standard Chevrolet bow tie key fob. It's got a nice weight to it. It's got remote start, which is a nice touch. 2 cup holders, some more of that carbon flash metallic. This is going to control that CVT transmission. A nice pocket here, some type of cubby. I guess you could either put a drink or fill this up with peanut M&Ms. You'll be good to go for a week, depending on how many you eat. Hard as a rock. Lift this up. Yeah, now we're talking. You got a take to go tray. So you got your little party tray you can take with you. Put some Jolly Ranchers, maybe some chocolate Hershey's Kisses. Maybe nobody's kissed you, so you got to have a Hershey's Kiss. And then you have an area in this center console, I would say probably for about another 8 Twinkies if you stand them up vertically. Just don't go too high because we all know what happens. Squish, cream everywhere. Close that up. Seats. They are cloth. I do like this side material on the seat. I don't like it on the door panel, but I don't know. It just feels a little scratchy. The piping is nice. That gives it a nice touch. You do have manual control for the passenger, but the driver gets electric assist, which is nice. The good news is plenty of headroom. Remember, I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of headroom, plenty of shoulder room. Come on over to the business end. I want to show you behind the wheel of the all-new Trailblazer. All right, guys, business time on the LT trim. Here's your electric assist controls. Easy to get to, even has the nice lower lumbar. Look at that. You have a space for an emergency Twinkie. So if everybody else eats your Twinkies, you could have one stored for you nicely there. Steering wheel, I'm surprised. The thickness is nice, but it's all rubber. It's meant to look like leather, but it's not. I thought on an LT trim I would have leather, so that's going to be a letdown and a zonk. Like the carbon smoke finish on the steering wheel, nice thumb controls, and then you're going to have a real easy, straightforward dash. So you have an analog tach, analog speedometer. In the center there, you have a digital display. Kind of looks a little dated, and this is a 2021. So I'm going to zonk it, not for the size, but for the color. There's no color. There's no special feature going on there that you see on so many others, even in this class. But why don't we go ahead, let's check out the back seat and see how much room your passengers are gonna have in the new Trailblazer. All right, guys, back seat time. The great news is that with the way that the roof is very flat, you actually have just as much headroom in the back seat as you do the front, which is great. If you're wondering, well, Joe, what's going on with this plastic here? You could actually lay the seat down and put your legs out. So they put the plastic here to take a little bit better beating. You do have a pocket, which is nice. You can put some Twizzlers in there. And then I have a pocket over here too. So I could put, if I want to eat healthy, maybe a banana or 2 over here. Down below, nice surprise. Little cubby for some atomic fireballs. And then you have a home power source, USB and USB-C. There's no rear AC, which to me at $26,000, it would be nice to have rear AC. Seats though, are very comfy. The only thing is I feel like this material makes me itch. I want to go home and like scratch my whole body after sitting here. There's no armrest, so forget about me showing you that. But let me go ahead and show you the cargo area and see how much room there is in this Trailblazer. All right, guys, time to check out the cargo area. You hit the button, you're gonna have to use your muscles. Here's one thing I want to show you is just how high this rear loading area is. So to me, that's something you're gonna take into consideration, especially if you have to lift heavy things from the ground floor. The good news is once you get it up, the cargo floor is very flat. You do have 2 nice cubbies on each side to put that emergency stash of Twinkies. Now, if you want hard numbers, here are some hard numbers for you. So you're looking at around 25 cubic feet of space with the seats up, actually to be exact, 25.3, and then 54.4 when you put the seats down. And what's nice is, look how easy it is. You go 1, 2, boom. 1, 2, boom. Actually quite flat. So I am impressed by that. We'll lift this guy up and see what we have down below in this bottom section. So you do get a nice spare, which is great because a lot of vehicles, to save weight, because these are all becoming race cars, they don't give you a spare. But it's nice to have the floor flat and a spare, all that space, well over 50 cubic feet of space. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the best part. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's take this Trailblazer for a spin. All right, guys, we are leaving Dimmitt Chevrolet. We're in the 2021 Chevy Trailblazer. This is that LT trim. And right away, the wonderful news is that just like when we did the RS trim, you're gonna get that same great visibility out the windscreen. The one thing I'm not liking, especially on an LT trim, is this rubber steering wheel. I really think they could have went with some leatherette material or something other than just Rubbermaid rubber. So that to me is a zonk. The great news is having that 8-inch infotainment system screen may not seem like a big deal, but when you're using it to back up and go through the different functions of the infotainment system, that extra inch makes a big difference. I don't care what she says to you, that extra inch does make that big of a difference. Super smooth with the way that the Trailblazer drives. You know, you would think a smaller would be kind of clunky, but let's see how acceleration goes on throttle. Remember, 155 horsepower. The good news is with the simulated gears, you're not getting that really loud, super loud drone that you sometimes find in these vehicles because of the CVT transmission. The simulated gears kind of cut down on that quite a bit. I wish that digital display in between the gauges had some type of different color or font, because it's funny because that one thing when you look down makes this vehicle feel like it's about 4 or 5 years older than what it is. And this is at 2021, so it's like I've actually gone to the future to get this vehicle and bring it for you here in the year 2020. Seats are comfy. I wish the bottom portion was just a little bit larger, but overall the comfort of them, the actual cushion material is very nice, especially for longer drives. I could see this being something to where it's not going to wear you out after a day of driving. Side mirrors work really great when you're navigating tight areas, especially if you happen to live in the city somewhere. And I think that's really where this will pay big dividends. As somebody in a city having a parallel park or getting to tight places, being on the smaller side of things, this is really going to help out. The great news is on the interior, maximum space, especially for your passengers. And I like how on the LT trim, you're getting that extra connectivity that we showed you, the home power source, the USB, USB-C. And then from a cargo standpoint, the amount of room that you have back there is phenomenal. The only thing I'm just, like I said, I'm a little concerned about is the height of that cargo floor compared to the outside ground. If you got something heavier, you're gonna have to work to really lift it up that high to get it into the back. What I do like on the LT trim, you do have, of course, your emergency braking safety feature. It also flashes red lights and an alarm to let you know that the emergency braking is about to get engaged and that you're getting a little close to the vehicle in front of you. So this does have some really great safety features at a lower price point, which there was once upon a time you wouldn't find any of that at this price point. Brakes feel good. Pulling out on the side street, back on throttle. It's on the slower side of things. I mean, you know, you're not winning any races. There might be a bicycle or a skateboard rider that beats you, but that's not the purpose of this vehicle. The vehicle, you're gonna get great MPGs, usable space on the interior, and if you love that Trailblazer name, or you're still, you know, being raised where your grandfather had a Chevy, his grandfather had a Chevy, and his grandfather before that had a horse named Chevy, then here you are in the year 2020. You could get a Chevrolet and get the Trailblazer. Very, very smooth. I like the feedback that you get, and it's nice that there's snow mode for those of us living up north, even though this is a front-wheel drive model, and there's sport mode as well. But we're going to go ahead, get back to Dimmitt Chevrolet and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another great day here at Dimmitt Chevrolet. Definitely got to thank Raheel, Eli, and the rest of the crew getting us access to the all-new 2021 Trailblazer. This subcompact crossover SUV class is quite interesting because it's really starting to heat up. Small on size on the exterior, but as you saw, plenty of room on the interior. If you're shopping for a subcompact SUV, I would add this to the list. But like I said, there's some major players in this category, especially coming from Kia with the Seltos, the Kona from Hyundai, the Kicks from Nissan, and the CX-30 from Mazda. But if it's vehicles like these that you want to keep seeing on the channel, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radies Rise family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Radies Rise merch. You got to get it at the Big Guns McGee. He's out here with his shirt off. just because he's got a bunch of girls staring at him right now. So thank you, Tripod, for all your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.